The wealthiest couple was utterly shocked to find out that their grandson could not only high-five them through his daughter-in-law's belly, but also greet them during prenatal checkups. What was even more amazing was that the little boy smiled at his grandparents the moment he was born. In contrast, the baby boy born to his daughter-in-law's adoptive sister never did anything but cry. This made the wealthiest couple grow fonder of their daughter-in-law and her son. They decided to give them half of the group's shares. When the adoptive sister heard about this, she was consumed by jealousy. She secretly teamed up with a nurse, planning to swap the two babies. The daughter-in-law arrived just in time to stop them, acting on her sharp intuition. But it was too late. The adoptive sister had already snatched her child, insisting that the baby was hers. Even her husband took the adoptive sister's side. The truth was that he had always been in love with the adoptive sister. That was why he had an affair with her and got her pregnant as well. Little did the two of them know that the daughter-in-law's child was actually the reincarnation of their late friend, a woman they had wronged and driven to her death. The reincarnated friend communicated with the daughter-in-law through her thoughts to confirm her identity, and at the same time, she kicked the two-timing husband hard. Just then, the daughter-in-law spotted the red mole on her friend's soul. She hurried to tell her parents-in-law about it. The couple clearly remembered that their grandson had a red mole on his soul the day he was born. They instantly realized that the adoptive sister was trying to swap the babies. Seeing that her scheme had been exposed, the adoptive sister shifted all the blame onto the nurse. She claimed that the nurse must have accidentally mixed up the two infants. Her lover jumped to her defense, saying that both babies were his sons, so there was no point for the adoptive sister to swap them. Upon hearing this, the wealthy couple had no choice but to deal with the nurse privately. The daughter-in-law was furious at the turn of events, but her friend told her not to be angry. This incident had already made her parents-in-law wary of the adoptive sister. Sure enough, it did not take long before the couple told their daughter-in-law that they were going to transfer half of the group's shares to her and her son. They also announced plans to hold a grand banquet for the little boy, publicly declaring him the group's future heir. When the adoptive sister got wind of this, she was livid. She stormed over to demand justice, arguing that since she and the daughter-in-law had given birth to the man's children at around the same time, her son deserved a share of the assets too. However, the wealthy couple looked at her with disgust and told her that she had already disgraced the entire family by sneaking into her sister's husband's bed. Her child was born out of wedlock and without proper legitimacy. He had no right to claim any family property. The husband tried to speak up to fight for the adoptive sister's interests, but he was sharply reprimanded by his parents as well. Watching this unfold, the daughter-in-law finally felt a wave of satisfaction, like a weight had been lifted off her chest. But her friend warned her that the adoptive sister would never let this go. Chances were she would cause a scene at the banquet. True to her word, on the day the wealthy couple announced their grandson as the family heir, the daughter-in-law's birth parents suddenly showed up. They were holding a paternity test report, which clearly stated that the daughter-in-law's child was not her husband's biological son. As soon as the words left their mouths, the guests burst into an uproar of whispers. They all accused the daughter-in-law of having a questionable moral character. The adoptive sister was overjoyed at the sight, thinking that even though the daughter-in-law had given birth to a favored child, her own parents and husband were on her side. The daughter-in-law would never be able to defeat her. Little did she know that at that moment, the daughter-in-law had already learned the truth from her friend. When her friend was reincarnated, she had the power to choose her blood ties. She had indeed chosen not to be biologically related to the two-timing scoundrel, but she also had a way to alter the results of the paternity test. So she asked the daughter-in-law to hand her the test report and to buy her a little more time.